Well, here we are again. Sorry for the lighting. This is kind of the best I could get in this scenario. Anyway, we have the WWE Network special, Roadblock, live from Toronto. And, they didn't do a good job. I remember this was announced a few months ago, but they didn't really do a good job of promoting it until like the last 2 weeks or so. But that being said, we did wind up with a pretty solid lineup here. To start things off, we have the WWE Tag Team Championship match. The New Day versus the League of Nations. In this case, Wade Barrett and Sheamus. Right off the bat, the fans were immediately calling Sheamus and Barrett booty because the New Day came out and they did the whole Bootios thing. They had the Bootios cereal box. And anyway, Kofi and Sheamus started off. Kofi put Sheamus in a head scissors. Big E tagged in. He hit Wade Barrett with a big backbreaker. Kofi tagged back in. Barrett managed to hit Kofi with the winds that changed. Sheamus tagged in and hit the Irish Curse backbreaker on Kofi. Sheamus hit a top rope shoulder block on Kofi. It's kind of unique because Sheamus really doesn't do a lot of the top rope stuff. So Big E tagged in and hit Barrett with a big belly-to-belly suplex and then a big splash. He tried to cover for the two, but then Sheamus started distracting the referee. This allowed... Kofi then tagged in. He hit a flying crossbody for a 2 count. Sheamus countered a Trouble in Paradise into the cloverleaf. Kofi rolled out of the cloverleaf and hit the SOS on Sheamus. Kofi went for a top rope move, and he landed awkwardly. That allowed Barrett to... What did he... I think he hit the bull hammer on Big E, but Xavier distracted the ref, and that allowed Big E to hit the big ending on Barrett for the 3. New Day retained as tag team champs. Great, good, solid match to start things off on this. Really good, like I said. Sorry. And the funny thing is, they had announced 5 matches going into this, and then they added 1. Well, not 5, maybe it was 6. Yeah, they added 2 matches, sorry. There were originally 4 matches announced, and they added 1, which we'll get to. And then we got 2 more bonus matches. And our second match is Chris Jericho versus Jack Swagger. First off, Jericho came out and he cut this big, long-running promo. He ran down Canada. Excuse me. He ran down AJ Styles. He ran down Jack Swagger. Swagger came out, immediately tossed Jericho into the turnbuckle. Let's see. Sorry, I gotta look at my notes here. Jericho did a baseball slide. It hit Swagger all the way into the ring barricade. Jericho locked Swagger in a sleeper hold. Swagger countered a bulldog attempt and threw Jericho into the turnbuckle again. Jericho countered a Swagger bomb by lifting his knees up. Swagger countered a lion salt and hit a Swagger bomb for a 2 count. Swagger went for the ankle lock, but Jericho rolled out of it. Swagger countered a crossbody into another ankle lock attempt. However, Jericho was able to roll out of that and lock on the walls of Jericho He sent Swagger into the turnbuckle and then locked on the walls of Jericho, and Swagger tapped out. This was an okay match, but really it kind of felt pointless, which I guess for a bonus match is why it was a bonus match. Maybe they should have had an AJ run in. That probably would have piqued a little bit more interest in it. Excuse me. Okay, our third match is for the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Revival, a.k.a. Dash and Dawson, versus Enzo and Big Cass. Early on, Enzo hit Dash with the head scissors. Enzo and Cass managed to isolate Dash off as Cass tagged in and hit a big sidewalk slam. Cass tossed Dash into Dawson. Cash tossed Enzo out of the ring and onto Dash and Dawson. Eventually, Dash ran Enzo into the ring post, and that allowed Dawson to get back into the match. They then isolated Enzo for a significant point. At one point, Enzo tried to get to Cass for a tag, but Dawson just hit him with this big shoulder block, and Enzo flew right out of the ring. Eventually, Enzo got the hot tag to Cass. Cass hits Dash and Dawson with a bunch of big boots, and then hits a East River crossing on Dawson. Dawson managed to roll out of the ring, and he grabbed hold of Carmella, but she slapped him. They tried to do the rocket launcher, but Dash speared Enzo, and then the Revival hit the buzzsaw for the 3 count, and they retained the tag titles. No real shock here. Enzo and Big Cass have been rumored for the big main roster move for the last few weeks. It was originally rumored that they were going to do that at Fastlane. I mentioned that in the that infamous Edge and Christian segment, but that didn't seem to happen. But yeah, it's a matter of time right now. Anyway, now our 4th match was the one that was announced earlier, not really a bonus match because that was announced on Friday, and that was the Divas title match, Charlotte versus Natalya. Early on there were a series of takedowns. Sorry. The last bit on the, before I get too far into the Divas match, last bit about the tag match, the NXT tag match. It was a really good match, not quite as good as the one in London, but still a very solid match. Okay. Now on to Charlotte and Natalya again. Take 2. There were a series of takedowns early on. Charlotte locked Natty in a leg scissors. Charlotte then locked on a half Boston Crab. Natty reversed that and put Charlotte into a surfboard. Natty hit a baseball slide and Charlotte knocked her out of the ring again. Charlotte tried to lock Natty into a figure 4 head scissors for a while. Natty went for a discus clothesline. Charlotte countered that into a neck breaker. Natty locked into a small package for a 2 count. Charlotte chop blocked Natty's leg and began isolating Natty's knee, did a figure 4 around the ring post. Natty eventually came back and hit a discus clothesline and went for the sharpshooter, but Charlotte managed to roll out of it. Charlotte hits Natty with a big boot and locks on the figure 4, but Natty tries to roll out of that. Eventually she did. Charlotte hit the natural selection for a 2 count. She then went for a moonsault. Natty countered that moonsault into a power bomb. Got a 2 count. Natty locked on the sharpshooter, but then Ric Flair was starting to kind of reach into the ring. Charlotte reached in and grabbed a hold of Ric's hand. Natty was distracted by this, went after Flair, and Charlotte rolled her up for the 3 count. A really good match. Reminds me of how underrated Natalya Neidhart really is. She should be utilized no more. I mean, I know Tyson Kidd's hurt, and I wonder if that's putting her career into a bit more perspective, but you never know. Like I said, I hope they use her more. Okay, our 5th match of the night was Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt. Except it wasn't, actually. Luke Harper, and only Luke Harper, came out with Bray Wyatt, and Wyatt says the 2 of them would be able to take out Brock Lesnar, and now it was a handicap match for some reason. Although, again, it really wasn't a handicap match because only Luke Harper was in this match. Lesnar drove Harper into the corner and began hitting him with a German suplex. Lesnar started to go after Wyatt, but then Harper hit him with a big suicide dive. Harper got Lesnar back in the ring, hit a series of super kicks and discus clotheslines for a 2 count. Lesnar countered a discus clothesline into a German suplex. Lesnar hit another German suplex. Lesnar hit the F5 for the 3, and then Lesnar went after Bray Wyatt. And it's kind of weird because 1, Lesnar's facing Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania, and 2, Bray Wyatt doesn't really have anything going for WrestleMania. I mean, it is kind of a shame that we're not getting a Bray Wyatt Brock Lesnar feud, because the way they kind of built into this was pretty good. And to be honest, to have that kind of match and then lead into a WrestleMania match would have made way more sense. Instead, this just looked weird. And then we have our 2nd bonus match of the night, Sami Zayn versus Stardust. I'm honestly not really going to be able to show any sort of picture for this, so here's something. Okay. Anyway, Stardust opened up by hitting a big arm drag on Zayn. The crowd immediately started chanting, "Cody, Cody," which distracted Stardust enough to allow Zayn to hit a series of arm drags on his own. Stardust put Zayn in a bow and arrow around the ring post. Stardust hit a gourd buster for a 2 count. Excuse me. Stardust then locked on a reverse Boston Crab. Stardust hit a side effect for a 2 count. Zayn countered a superplex, but Stardust was able to hit Zayn with another superplex. Zayn then hit a suicide plancha on Stardust on the outside of the ring. Zayn hit a blue thunder bomb for a 2. Zayn then hit his T-bone suplex into the corner and then followed that up with the haluva kick for the 3. Okay, this match wasn't that bad, but again, it really felt like filler. Okay, and our main event for the evening, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between Triple H and Dean Ambrose. Triple H opened up with a big hip toss. Triple H locked Ambrose in a big hammer lock. Ambrose hit an arm drag hip toss combination. Ambrose put Hunter into a nose lock. He basically grabbed his nose like this.
And now I'm making my voice sound funny for some reason.
And then he did this to Triple H. Yeah, he basically did this. I don't know why I felt the need to demonstrate that. Anyway, Ambrose clothesline Triple H over the top rope. Ambrose does the rebound clothesline off on the outside of the ring. Ambrose hit a drop kick to Hunter's surgically repaired quadricep. He began to isolate that quadricep. Triple H then sent Dean into the ring steps. Triple H he did a slingshot maneuver on Ambrose off the bottom rope. Triple H then locked on a crossface and then modified that into a Rings of Saturn. Ambrose hit a big flying elbow. Ambrose hit a running bulldog and got a 2 count. Ambrose countered a pedigree into a roll-up for a 2 count. Ambrose hit his clothesline again for a 2 count. Triple H countered an Ambrose splash with a big clothesline. Ambrose countered a pedigree into a figure 4. Ambrose then went for a sharpshooter, but Hunter got to the ropes. At that point, the action got outside the ring. Ambrose... Then Ambrose hit Dirty Deeds. He went for the 3, he got the cover. Ref goes 1, 2, starts to count the 3rd, and almost gets it all the way down, but then notices that Dean Ambrose's foot is under the bottom rope. So he had to stop. And at that point, the action kind of went outside the ring. Ambrose hit a big flying elbow onto Triple H again, knocked him out, set Triple H up on the ring table. Ambrose got up on the barricade, ran around the barricade, hit a flying elbow from the barricade onto the ring table, but Triple H rolled out of the way. Ambrose was out. Ref was doing the 10 count. Looked like Ambrose was going to get counted out. He just barely beat the count out, but he walked right into the pedigree for the Triple H at the pedigree. Triple H wins. Not really a big shock. Like I said, if you were really expecting Dean Ambrose to win this, sorry. I mean, it's basically a filler match in between Fastlane and WrestleMania. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. It was a very good match. It was a good, long, solid match. I guess to prove that Triple H can still kind of go, because if you remember last year WrestleMania 31, that match with Sting, it didn't help. I mean, I know he hurt his hamstring on the way to the ring. That didn't help bolster his, not really bolster his reputation, but you get what I mean. Let's see. I don't know exactly what time this is going up. It's 9:45 as of now. I'll try to get this edited and put up as soon as I can. Obviously, the next video after this is the random trade review on the Marvel Encyclopedias. I know that later this week, Netflix Daredevil Season 2 premieres. I might be able to get that done, I might not. Basically, this house-sitting gig kind of ends on that premiere date, so I don't know. I might not get it done until Saturday, just to try to cool off a little bit here. Anyway, might as well finish this. I got a cat litter box to clean as well, so see you next time.